I think I'm in love. I think I've fallen in love with the safety squat bar on the first time that I ever touched it, used it, worked out with it. You might not believe it, but I've never actually done a safety squat bar session. I've seen maybe one or two in my time through the gyms that I've been, but none of them actually had the padding. And I always thought to myself, it's a little bit ridiculous to use a safety squat bar without the padding. Today, the search continued. I had a day off work and I thought, let me go to a different gym again and look for this reverse hyper. Maybe this one will have a reverse hyper. So I go to this gym today. The moment I rocked up, I do a bolt around the whole gym, walk around through the place, looking left and right for this machine, the reverse hyper. That's kind of been my motivation the last week or so to go to these other gyms. My normal gym membership expired, and I thought, I don't particularly want to join the same gym if I can't really get what I want. So I thought, let's find a gym that actually has the reverse hyper, and I'll go there. This one didn't have the reverse hyper, but in my walk around, I saw something in the corner which caught my eye, and it was the safety squat bar. So initially, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I rocked up to the gym, because I thought, if I find a reverse hyper, I'm going to spend like 30, 40 minutes there just smashing that out. But when I didn't see that and I saw the safety squat bar, I thought, okay, let's do the front squats, work up to my usual whatever. Ended up being 170 today. And the moment I did that, I looked over to that bar, swapped the bars over, put the safety squat bar. And I must admit, man, I had trouble. I had trouble from the get-go. I don't know what the normal diameter, what the normal specifications should be. But I was struggling with the bar. Essentially, I could not rack the bar any which way because the curve in the bar, so you got the flat, the straight bar, and then the bar kind of curves like a camber thing, right? Well, it was hitting the rack. It was hitting the J-cup portion of where the rack is. And so I would have to, the only way I could rack the bar is if I grab the handles, pull them straight down, like vertically, and then I'll rack. Otherwise, if the bend in the bar was kind of going towards the rack, you basically couldn't rack it. It was blocking it. I felt a similar thing when I was squatting with the straight bar. I thought to myself, my God, there's like a few millimeters away. The collars were a few millimeters away from the J-cup. So it's like if you squat where the safety pins are and you're maybe skewed by like 1 or 2 degrees, you might end up hitting the safety pins on the way out or like as you're squatting. So I was walking a fair distance to clear the safety pins. I should have really taken them off. So I would avoid that walk. Anyway, I thought, okay, this is really strange. Maybe this is just how it is. When people squat inside the racks, they have to be lots of precision. Otherwise, I don't know about you guys, but it's a real put off when you have a concern in your mind that on the way down, you might actually hit something on the way down, like a safety pin or whatever. So I was walking the front squats out. And then when I got to the safety squat bar, I thought, my God, this is even smaller clearance. So small that it was actually rubbing against the vertical of the squat rack. And I thought, man, this is really strange. A safety bar is supposed to be that freaking tight to the rack? Makes no sense. So walking this thing out was very difficult. Walking it back in was very difficult. Racking it was very difficult. So I didn't particularly like that. And then towards the end of the session, I kind of kept looking at the squat rack. And I kept thinking that the uprights are too wide. The actual vertical, metal, the vertical, I don't know what to call it, pipes or whatever you want to call it, the steel, was just too wide. The rack was too wide. And essentially the plates or the bar was not enough clearance. The way I squat at home, I've got those portable squat stands, so I can, make enough clearance as much as I want, right? My actual squat rack has plenty of clearance compared to this squat rack. This squat rack was particularly wide. Now, I don't know if that's just the style of the rack or whatever. I always thought that these racks were a standard, like everyone makes the same type of rack. No, this thing was so wide that the safety squat bar was really, really difficult to use. Regardless of all of that, I thought the gym was fantastic. It was very, very spacious. 5 squat racks, and every time I see that, I'm like, this is awesome. 5 places to do deadlifts, which is another great thing. Love that. Had the safety squat bar, loved it. Technical difficulties with the actual squat racks, but anyway, I ended up somehow working this thing out. Once again, I want to look this up, but I don't know whether there's a safety squat bar standard as well, like in terms of how long the bar is. Maybe this bar was not long enough. Maybe it's one of these generic, non-branded and just random specifications. Anyway, so I made it work, although it was awkward. And for the first time ever in my life using the safety squat bar, I was able to get to 190 kilos for a rep, which I thought was quite good. It wasn't a struggle. This is the first time I've back squatted anything, straight bar or safety squat bar, in a long while. I want to say I'm pushing 2 months now. I don't know how long it's been, at least a month, I think. It's been since I last back squatted. Since the 31-day streak of hitting 200, I've gone completely away from back squatting, went into front squatting, and I've kind of gotten used to being challenged in my upper back. So when I got to the safety squat bar, I was like, yeah, it's trying to fold me over, but I'm used to the front squat. And so I think that was part of my success of, first time touching the safety squat bar and already having some success with it. Now, in between some of these sets, I started reading about what is the strength standard when you're doing an SSB squat. How far off are you going to be in comparison with a normal straight bar? And what I came up with, wherever I looked, was that it's around 10 or 11%. So me doing 190 kilos puts me essentially in the vicinity of a 210 kilo back squat with a straight bar on the first time that I went to do a back squat. So automatically I'm very, very happy. I'm like, wow, okay, so these last 30 odd days of me doing front squat has done something to my body. On the first freaking day that I go back to back squats, I'm already hitting like 98% or 99% of my freaking PB, my PR. So things are looking good. Very, very encouraged with how it felt. And this is all on the back of yesterday's monster session where I did 15 triples with 60%, which, a lot of people are saying, 60% is not a lot. In the front squat, 60% challenges me for triples. I can do way more, obviously. It's just that I start to collapse and I start to deviate away from what really works for me. So I had a long, squat session yesterday. I come in today and I try the safety squat bar for the first time. Boom, 190. So, automatically I started feeling really, really good in the safety squat bar. I've never tried it, but I feel because your arms are tucked into your side and you can engage your lats, you can engage, I feel like the anterior core even better. It's just the way the biomechanics of the lift works. I felt so confident doing the safety squat bar. It is so much easier. It's just so much easier to exist doing a safety squat bar compared to a front squat. Front squat is, I know a lot of people say, the safety squat bar is somewhere in between a front squat and a back squat. And actually, if you look at some of the percentages that we're dealing with, so if you take your back squat with a straight bar, normal bar, the safety squat bar is 10% behind, and the front squat with the straight bar is around 20% behind or thereabouts. So it goes, 100%, 90%, and 80%. So it's kind of the 10% apart when you go back from the normal back squat to the safety squat to the front squat. So it's an interesting they're equally spaced out in a way. But I still felt like I could have hit 200 with the safety squat bar, which, if you think about it, what's 10% of 220? It's around 20 kilos, isn't it? Or 22 kilos, whatever. So if I'm able to hit 200 kilos in a safety squat bar, technically speaking, I'm strong enough to hit a 220 back squat with a straight bar. So all of this was circulating in my mind. I'm like, man, this might be a freaking workout and like a work around and a half, in the sense that I feel so comfortable doing these damn safety squat bars. Maybe I can just do a crap ton of volume in this and work my way, work the confidence, work some of the weights that I'm dealing with, And this is going to translate to the straight bar. So all of these was kind of like circulating in my mind. And I was like, man, as soon as I get home, I'm going to go check out the prices of these things. I want to get one from home for my home gym. Now, I have been considering the safety squat bar for a very, very long time. And always my opinion was, I do not want to collect junk for my garage gym. Like I don't have enough space. I don't want to like buy a thing which I'm going to use for a week and never again. And what am I going to do with it now? Now it's looking at me, staring at me, teasing me. You know, you bought me and I'm not, you're not doing anything with me. And so this is one of the reasons why back in the day, like some 4 or 5 years ago, probably 5, 6 years ago now, I bought a 45-degree hyper, used it for a period, and I moved away from it, went into something else, and I reluctantly sold it, but I sold it because it was right in my way, right? It was in my way, and I didn't like walking around it all the time. If I'm not going to use it, I'm going to get rid of it. Sold it for like 40, 50 bucks back then. Anyway, that was annoying because now I'm kind of in the market to buy one of those as well because it's such a proven thing for me, and I freaking love the idea of going back into it. The only reason I haven't bought it is because I wanted to try the reverse hyper beforehand. But now in my quest to find the freaking reverse hyper, I've stumbled upon a freaking safety squat bar. And now I'm thinking to myself, man, if I'm going to spend $500 freaking dollars, man, I might get myself a safety squat bar. It just feels freaking amazing. I feel like it is the same kind of, I want to say, stimulation to the legs, I want to say. It's just you feel so much more rigidity through the upper back because you can lock your lats down. You know, the lats are, you know, in my mind, like I've thought about this a lot. In my mind, the difference between a squat and a deadlift in terms of the numbers we can put out is the lats. You know, I know it sounds crazy, but I sometimes think to myself, what happens? Obviously, the leverage is a little bit different as well, but hear me out with this. When you are doing a deadlift, you are engaging freaking every muscle in your body. Everything's good to go. But when you are squatting the bar, your arms are up holding the bar. And that makes it really, really difficult for you to engage the lats, right? They're kind of in a long, stretched out position. So if you can squat with your lats locked in, it feels so much better. Obviously, it's still far away from a freaking deadlift. I can't squat 260, no way. And theoretically speaking, everything that I've read, they're actually saying the safety squat bar is actually weaker than a back squat. I think the reason for that is because the camber, like the you know, it's kind of, you're more upright and you're less likely or less able to use the posterior chain. But the act of having your arms down, I feel like, man, this just makes it easier. And I think to myself, if you grab a straight bar and you got some, you know, wrist wraps or whatever, and you tied it to the back, and you can kind of like hold on to the bar through these straps and have your arms pinned down, have the lats contracted, I reckon you'll be strong in that position. Now, I'm just talking, you know, as I'm thinking about this, but I'm trying to look for reasons why the safety squat bar felt so good to me. And I felt like I was at home, even though I've never freaking tried it before. So I'm very, very excited about the safety squat bar. This gym is very, very nice. If I'm going to go back to any gym, I'm probably going to go back to that one. The only thing that's annoying is this freaking squat rack's a little bit wide, and it's a little bit difficult to come in and out of it. Other than that, I'm very glad I went to this gym. The safety squat bar is in my mind now, and as soon as I finish with this video, I'm going to be all over Google, reading about safety squat bars, reading if there's a standard of width, you know, or maybe the squat rack was the wide and the problem, but maybe also the safety squat bar was a little bit too narrow. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I'm going to look into this, and I'm going to try and fight off the excitement just for a few days until I kind of get my head around a safety squat bar. Anyway, that's my day. Really excited to be that strong in the safety squat already, because I'm kind of extrapolating that into a straight bar back squat. Maybe I've got a PR in me. Maybe it's already here. Just goes to show you improve your front squat, you put volume into your front squat, your back squat is going to improve as well. And that's exciting. Appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.